All right, can I look at these? There we go. Hi guys, how you all doing? I hope all is well, man. I know. So we're doing things a little bit differently tonight. Okay, I have a little bit of a different setup, of course. The lighting's not the best. I'm in my car, uh, and yeah. So we're just trying to make do. I wanted to do a little cast tonight, and just talk a little bit about some things that were on my mind. Okay, I definitely have some things that were on my mind that I just like wanted to just get off my chest. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Birds, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the Phillies as well. And man, I have so much on my mind that I just have to get out. That's all I gotta do. And I think that the first thing to start, okay, I want to talk a little bit about the Eagles. All right, Chris Sims, man, makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. This dude goes on national TV. This dude basically goes on there and talks about how the push tush is not a cool thing. You know what? Maybe other people should try to master that like the Eagles are. Have you ever thought about that? Huh? It's working out for the Eagles. If the Dallas Cowboys were doing it, or if the New England Patriots were doing the same thing, do you think that they'd have a problem with it? My gosh, it's working. And the Eagles are so good. It's not their fault that they have a great offensive line. It's not their fault that they have a very mobile quarterback that knows exactly what to do in the QB sneaks on 3rd and 1. It's not their fault. So why even bother going there and attacking the Eagles for that? No sense whatsoever. It's a strategy that they've mastered. It's like saying this, okay? If the Eagles mastered, or whoever team it was, if they mastered the onside kick, right? A lot of teams have not had a lot of success with it. They've been really struggling with it, and it's so hard to get an onside kick perfect, right? If teams were mastering that and they did a good job with it, then what the heck? Do you want to get rid of that too? I think that that's a pretty logistical question, and I just have to throw that out there. I don't know. It's like also saying, in basketball, and I love making this analogy, but you foul people, right? And you foul like the worst free throw shooters, and you win that way. It worked against the Sixers. It worked for the Hawks a couple of years ago in the playoffs. You want to get rid of that too? Because the Hawks mastered that? It doesn't make any sense to me. And I think that was absolutely foolish that he just went on national TV, and that's exactly what he said. All right? I just wanted to kind of just throw out my thoughts with that because I think that that's absolutely disgusting. Can't be getting rid of strategy. The Eagles have mastered it perfectly, and I had to bring that up because shame on Chris Sims, dude. Shame on Chris Sims for doing that. If it's working, then the other teams probably should figure out a strategy so that way it could work for them. You know, that's how it is, and that's the way I look at it. Um, this team, man. Okay, we want to talk a little bit about predictions of what's going to happen on Sunday against the Commanders. I mean, what's there really to talk about? The Commanders have some really nice pieces. Okay, Logan Thomas is a really good tight end, right? You got Scary Terry at the wide receiver. Curtis Samuel's been really good. Jahan Dotson has been somebody that has been really good as far as wide receivers go. I like what they have with their running game, with a Robinson and of course Antonio Gibson as well. Brian Robinson Jr. He's been really good. But I'm sorry, this Eagles team just can beat you in so many different ways that it is just really going to be tough for Sam Howell to deal with that Eagles defense. I'm sorry. This is a guy who literally has been sacked 19 times this season, and he got sacked, 9 times against the Bills? Now, he had a better game in the last game. He threw for 299 passing yards. He had 2 touchdowns, and he helped the team get 35 points. I get that. But when you're going up against a huge defensive front seven with the Eagles, and Reddick's coming back, okay, a lot of pressure is going to be made. And how much is your O-line going to be able to protect you against this Eagles front seven? I think he's going to struggle. And maybe he could turn into Taylor Heineke. I really do. And so the Eagles should definitely have a really good day at the office defensively. And it should just be a cakewalk, in my opinion. I think it should be a cakewalk. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I'm not going to tell you that the Commanders don't have a good defensive front, because of course they do. Yes, they have some really nice key pieces. Of course they got Chase Young. Of course they have they have a Jamin Davis, and of course they have Montez Sweat. Right? These guys have been doing a really good job in so many different ways, and that is sort of it is the bread and butter of this Commanders team. They do a good job in that area. But again, you have a pretty good offensive line for the Eagles, led by Jason Kelce and Cam Jurgens and Jordan Mailata. They just have so many guys that could probably take on that defensive line. And I think DeAndre Swift is going to have another really big day. Now, the question then becomes, okay, yes, Jonathan Allen, as a great defensive tackle as he is, I don't know how he's going to do against Jordan Mailata. I don't know who he's going to get matched up with. I don't know I don't know if he's going to be getting double teams or whatnot. But my question is, in regards to the Eagles, what type of version of Jalen Hurts are we going to get? That's what I want to know. All right? We thought that maybe it was going to be easy for him and Brian Johnson to just get along. We thought that they would just automatically click. No, it takes time. And the fact that they're 3-0 and yet it's not clicking the way that we want it to click right now, I think that means that this team is going to be scary good this year. I do. But I don't know how Hurts is going to do in certain situations. I don't know. I think that his passing has been really good from the pocket. I think that he makes pretty good reads. Okay, there were some plays that happened in the last game that shouldn't have happened, and some of them were just mistakes. DeAndre Swift, he even talked about it in his press game or in his post game press conference, Jalen, that DeAndre ran a wrong route, and therefore that's what happened in the first interception. I'm sure that there's going to be some miscommunication, collapses, if you will. But this team is just so strong in so many different areas. And it's so easy for me to say that they're just 10 times better than the Commanders are. And I really don't think that the Commanders are going to win. I just don't. I think that the Eagles are so much better in so many different areas. Okay, yes, they are still banged up at the cornerback position. But Reed Blankenship, man, and so many other guys just have been stepping up, even though Avonte Maddox is out. You still got Darius Slay. You still have some other guys. You have Sid. Sid literally, like, there was that one play in the last game where Mike Evans was trying to catch a touchdown, and Sid literally he gets his fingertips on the ball. And everybody on the broadcast is like, oh, Evans should have caught that. I mean, come on, man. Sid made such a great play there. I feel like that this team just has so much talent, and there's just no question in my mind that they are definitely going to beat the Washington Commanders. And I respect their defensive line. I respect the Commanders' defensive line. I respect the weapons that they have. I get it. But the Eagles' weapons are better. The Eagles have a much better running game, and they're They're just the more complete team. I love Sean Desai. I think he's done such a great job putting this defense in situations to succeed. I do. And if the front seven's doing their job, I don't think that we have to worry too much about the secondary. I don't. The air game is something that definitely works for the Commanders, but I think that they're going to have a tough time. It's just my thoughts. Sam Howell, man. Sam Howell, dude. This guy, man, I don't know what else to say about him. His IQ is not there. His pocket awareness is not there. Sometimes he holds onto the ball way too long. Yes, he doesn't have the best offensive line. But there are times when you're stepping up, right? And when you are getting blocking, where you have to make decisions with the ball. And that's not on the offensive coordinator. That's not on Ron Rivera. That's on you, dude. That's all on you. And you don't think that with Jordan Davis and with these other guys that are on this defensive line, Jalen Carter, right? And, of course, the linebackers like Haason Reddick. And you got Brandon Graham as a defensive edge. You don't think that they're going to put a lot of pressure on you? Because they absolutely will. They will destroy you. That's how it is. But, no, that's all I wanted to say pretty much about the Eagles. I think that it's going to be a good game on Sunday. And I think that the Eagles should definitely, I'm not telling you that it's going to be a cakewalk, but I do think that by far they are the better team. Even though the Commanders have a pretty good defensive line, like I just mentioned, of course it's like led by Chase Young. And of course you have Jonathan Allen as a really good defensive tackle. And Montez Sweat's been having a really good season. He had a very good first week. I'm not telling you that the Commanders aren't strong in that area, because they absolutely are. The problem is that this Eagles team can just beat you in so many different ways. The running game, the air game, right? Even on special teams last week, I'm not telling you that this is how it's going to be every single week, but Covey, man, had a pretty nice 52-yard return, you know? And Jake Elliott has been a really great kicker for this team. I just don't see how the Commanders are going to beat the Eagles unless it just comes down to injuries. I think Brian Johnson's going to do a pretty good job at trying to put Jalen in better positions to succeed. And this is a game where I'm going to have a lot of eyes on Jalen, because I don't think he's been bad. I don't think he's been great. I think he's been a mixture of both. I thought that, some of the passes, that he made last week, including the touchdown pass, that was pretty darn good. He's pretty good at throwing the deep ball. That's something that he could never do in his first year. His pocket awareness sucked. His IQ wasn't so good. Didn't really show off the athleticism as much as he probably should have. He wasn't even making the simple throws on the money. Okay, he has not been on the money this season. Part of that, if you were to look at a pie chart, is you got Brian Johnson, and that's a big, big part of it. They're not clicking. Still some of it's, though, rust. And I think it's going to get a lot better. But yes. All right. So we talked about Chris Sims. Talked about how stupid getting rid of strategy is, because that's pretty much what it is. The Eagles are really, really good at that. They're really good at, at the tush push, and they're really good with the QB sneaks. Other teams got to get better. Other teams maybe should be kind of like Howie Roseman and just build from the trenches. You ever think about that, Chris Sims? Huh? That's all I got to say. All right, we'll get to the Phillies talk in just a couple of seconds, but I want to stick with the Eagles talk really quickly. Fun Girls here. Yes, sir's here. If any of you guys have any sort of comments on the Eagles and about this week, I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. All right. Hello, Jacqueline. What's going on? So we're doing things a little bit differently. We're doing things from the car tonight. And so the aesthetics aren't so great, but we're doing this because I've been wanting to talk about both the Eagles and the Phillies today. All right. Good luck to Sam Howell. It wouldn't surprise me if the Eagles defense sacks him like 6 times. And maybe Haason Reddick, even though he didn't play last week, now that his hand's feeling better and Quez Watkins seems to be moving in the right direction, maybe that'll also elevate this team too. Because let's not forget about the injuries that they've dealt with. They lost Avonte Maddox, right? They may go after a cornerback or maybe a slot corner at the trade deadline. I don't know. That's a conversation to be had later. But the fact that this team has been dealing with injuries and they're 3-0 the way that they are, social media really has just taken this to such a big extreme. And I still believe that they can absolutely beat this Commanders team, and they should. They should be the favorites. Absolutely. Face red, droopy eyes. What's going on, dude? What's going on? Did I show this? There we go. There we go. All right, we're doing this from our phone. All right. So now that we spent 16 minutes talking about the Eagles, let's get into this Phillies talk. All right, I was at the game last night. I saw what went down. I missed Kyle Schwarber's leadoff homer. Shame on me for doing that because I was running a little bit late, but that's all right. I saw what I needed to see from Bryce Harper. Good for him. Angel Hernandez, man, just as an umpire, there have been so many different calls that he has made that have just been absolutely abysmal. It was not even a check swing, dude. And I'm so proud that Bryce was able to go get into his face and make the comments that he did, because guess what? So many other people have been complaining about Angel Hernandez over the last, even longer than 5 years. And what Bryce did, it fires me up for the postseason. Because that right there is what a leader of the team has to do. And maybe I'm being a little bit nitpicky here, because I understand that Rob Thompson has to back his guy down. Of course, you back him up. However, I personally love it when managers show their emotion. I do. I want to see Rob stick up for his guys. Not just back them up and try to cool them down, but also talk to the umpire too and get into their face. Because Angel Hernandez, man, is just absolutely awful at his job. He is. He's terrible. Harper did not go, and that's that. And time again, whether he's at home plate, whether he's at second base, it doesn't matter where he is on that field, he's made some awful calls. So many. But that was my biggest takeaway from the game last night. If you guys did follow my little vlog series, please go check it out if you haven't done so already. That was pretty cool. I had a blast doing that, doing some man on the street interviews. I might actually do some more of those types of things within the next coming days or so. And if I see somebody wearing a Phillies hat or something when I'm walking around, maybe I'll do like a little interview with them and post them on like my YouTube channel as sort of like YouTube Shorts. I think that that's a pretty good idea, and it's also a good way to just promote the channel. But besides all of that, I'm ready for Red October, dude. I'm so ready to watch this team in the playoffs, and I cannot wait to see them on Tuesday night. I could care less about the doubleheader tomorrow. I could care less about Sunday's game. I'm ready for the playoffs. I'm just ready. The Mets are the Mets. It is what it is. But with that being said, I don't know. Of course, the only thing that really does matter is how the pitchers continue to pitch tomorrow and Sunday. Okay? We want to get our bullpen ready, and we want to get our starting rotation ready. I personally like Christopher Sanchez. I do. I personally want him pitching over Taijuan Walker. What is Rob going to do? I don't know. But I personally believe he should go with Christopher Sanchez, and that's just me. I love Christopher. I love what he's been able to do over his last 3 to 4 outings. I think he's been a really great pitcher for this team. And how I would go about it is you have Wheeler, Nola, and Sanchez. Now, God forbid, if Zach Wheeler and the Phillies lose game 1, talked a little bit about this last night, I have to go with Nola as my number 2 guy, and I am scared of saying it, but he's been doing pretty good over his last 2 outings, and I feel comfortable that he's at home. I do. Now, Rob needs to figure out how long the leash is going to be with him. That's on him. But I am a little concerned about Nola, but I can still say, with that being said, that he should definitely be the number 2 guy. Because at best, he is their second best pitcher on the team. It's just how it is. So, what else was I going to say? Orion Kerkerink definitely has to make the roster. I don't care what happens. He needs to be on there. I think he's great. And I think that he has some really valuable stuff that can definitely keep hitters off balance because they don't have a lot of film on him. And when you look at that slider, when you look at that fastball, it's just so much fun to watch him pitch. It is. He's a weapon. And you better have him on that roster. I'm curious to see what type of role he's going to play, and I'm sure that's going to be on, matchup based, and we'll talk more about that as the days come. But I don't care who they face. I seriously don't. I don't care if they have to play against the Diamondbacks. I don't care if it's against the Marlins. I don't care. Whoever it is, come to Philly and good luck. Sorry. That's how I feel. And I'm honest with how I feel. I don't care who it is. I would love it if Zach Gallen pitches game 1 and the Diamondbacks have to face us, because then we can give Zach Gallen a welcome back to Philadelphia or welcome back to New Jersey party because he's from New Jersey, and that'd be kind of sick to just rain on his parade. I think that would be absolutely awesome. But I don't care who we play because I have confidence in this team. I trust this team. I love what they're able to do. Just get me to Tuesday, man. Get me to Tuesday, and we're going to be rocking and rolling. All right? And I think that that's all I wanted to say. I really do. I'm ready to see Trey Turner in the pinstripes in the playoffs, man. Kyle Schwarber batting in the leadoff spot. He's been doing a lot better lately, I got to tell you that. I do. I have to say that. I can't wait to see what he does. Bryce Harper in the postseason. That's going to be fun to watch. Get me the Red October. And I'll be very, very, very happy. I would see any comments down here. Nope. All right. Well, I just wanted to come on here, just give you my thoughts on both the Eagles and on the Phillies. Okay, nothing too fancy about this. Good stuff in Philly sports, except for the Sixers. That's a whole nother story. But all right, I love you guys. Catch you on the next one. See you Sunday. All right, we're doing the Eagles game. See you then. Good night.